All right, I'm getting coffee.
All right, so I am starting my show with nobody on the other side. I appreciate that. As soon as I said I'm starting, Doug literally ran off. So we are on Mic to Mic with Doug Cole, teenagers. Doug Cole, as you know, here he is. Doug is the guy I talk about a lot. This is my brother from another mother. Love this guy. He is down in Georgia now. He owns his own coffee shop. It's called Because Coffee, and they do roasting, and it's great coffee. And also, if you want to support a friend, I'll give you the link later so you can order your own coffee from this guy. So welcome, Doug.
Hey, dude, what's up?
All right, man. So we were just talking about how you're trying not to make fun of the coronavirus situation.
I'm failing. I just try. The thing is, I try not to in not public. I gauge my people. There's some people that come in the shop and I can joke about it. And other people, if they're wearing the mask, I just like when they walk in, I'm like this. I'm like, would you like a coffee? And that's what I do.
You're so goofy, bro.
I can handle that.
Hey. So
I cut eye holes. No joke.
Hold up. Get on your Wi-Fi, bro. You just froze. I'm waiting for you, man. I might have to edit this. Doug, I lost you.
Hold up.
Are you on your Wi-Fi?
No, I'm not. Hold up, bro. All right. Are y'all playing Roblox? Yeah. Okay. Can somebody not play Roblox for about the next 20 minutes? Because I need the Wi-Fi. Dude, this is Windstream, North Georgia Wi-Fi.
I'm keeping this in.
Yeah, do it. They're all hunkered down. Today's been a busy day, bro. And so now they can play some Roblox. And so I can play Roblox, and they're hogging up our North Georgia Wi-Fi. If I went down to the coffee shop, we've got Comcast, but at my house, it's this thing called anything but. It really is just like a stream of wind.
All right, bro. So the other day I go to the store, right? And we have 8 million people that live around here in Chicagoland area. So
right. So if you take 8 million people and 6 feet on each side of them, that's a lot of distance.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So anyways, I'm a little bit more cautious here. So, dude, what are you drinking, man? What do you got? Is it a cold brew?
Coffee. No, it's hot.
Is it hot or cold?
It's hot. I'm trying to think of what I got in here. I think it's got 3 coffees. It's got something from Ethiopia, Honduras, and Papua New Guinea in there.
Nice, man. All right. Dude, I got to go down there. So we got to, so I just talked to one of my doctors, and they told me I got to stay off coffee because I'm caffeine sensitive.
I'll send you some of the decaf, and this stuff is the bomb.
Okay.
Because
most of the time when you say decaf, it's garbage, but I trust you.
No, man. No. I enjoy drinking that stuff. So.
Okay. So anyways, I go to the store, right? And the cash register guy is all, I got my mask, my gloves on, and he's just like, yeah, I woke up and I had a cough this morning. That's the first thing he says to me. And I'm like, what? Like, come on, man. I was like, get me out of here. And then he was like trying to take off. There was like a sticker over the little barcode on some.
I thought you were just picking at a scab or something like that. Just
So he's like picking at the sticker. It feels like 10 minutes. And I'm just waiting for him to cough. I'm just like, stop. He's freaking me out, man. I don't know, man. So let's talk about, I wanted to bring up the first time that we met. When did you come to college? Because we met at college.
Oh, man, that was fall of 2002 when I got there.
Okay. Was it? Okay, so I remember this is you were on the dorm floor and you were like moving into your room or something like that. And I see this guy and he's got this T-shirt with all these like chili peppers on him. It's not a Red Hot Chili Pepper shirt, but it was a shirt with Red Hot Chili Peppers on it.
No, it wasn't a T-shirt. It was like
It was a button-up shirt.
I made a necklace.
Yeah, and then that's what I was gonna say. And you had a necklace with chili peppers on it. And I see this dude, and I'm like,
I got it from my bus route, though.
I'm like, hey, are you from California? I'm like, are you from California? And you're like, no. Have you ever been to California, Doug?
No, man.
Okay, wait up. So, but look, I'm like, are you from California? He's like, no, man. I'm from, dude, we got to go. We got to go to that.
California right there.
So you're like, no, I'm from Pennsylvania or whatever. And then I'm like, but it was kind of like, I just gave you the biggest compliment of your life right there when I mistook you for a Californian because you're such a goofy guy. I was like, why is this guy wearing a necklace made out of red chili peppers? Like, what is going on, man? I was just confused. And then, typical me, it was just like, okay, I'm out of here, man. I just like, all right, nice to meet you. See ya.
Boom.
And somehow later we became friends. That's the way it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's life, man. Now, how long you been in Georgia?
Almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August.
Dude, it feels longer.
It does. Yep. Like this time warp. We got caught in this loop and it just kind of.
I think everything feels longer with this quarantine.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's so funny. I had a customer ask me today, he's like straight. He reminds me is if like Shaggy, like from Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and then Bill from Bill and Ted, like got merged in an episode of Fringe. That's him. And he's like, what day is it?
What day is
I'm like,
it, bro?
I was like, it's Tuesday. And Heather looks at me. She's like, huh? I said, hold a straight face. And he's like, I was like, no, man, it's Thursday. Oh.
He thought it was Tuesday?
I had him going.
Oh, you told him it was Tuesday, and he was like, okay. You're like, no, man, it's Thursday.
Yeah. He didn't know.
Some people I have not gotten to that point where I'm forgetting what day it is. I'm not there yet, man. They all kind of feel the same, but I haven't forgotten yet what day.
I haven't changed my socks in like 18 days, but.
You haven't what?
Changed my socks in 18 days.
I don't get this, man. Sometimes I wonder why we're friends. Like I try to figure it out. I don't get it, but.
You ain't got
it. I don't gotta get it. Dude, I'm coming. We got to figure out. I'm supposed to have a trip just so we can watch the next Bill and Ted movie together. But I'm assuming it's postponed. But we'll have to figure it out. I'll get down there soon.
It's on my prayer list. I've got no joke. I've got 1,800 things that I pray through every day. It's getting longer.
1,800 things.
Yeah, and this is like number 1693 because it when everything popped out, that's about where it was.
You're ridiculous, bro. All right. So Doug, you got this coffee shop, but you have worked, he's been an assistant pastor. He's worked in Christian school, worked with me. We worked at a Christian college together. He's got a lot of experience, still very involved in his church down there. So give my teenagers some advice, man. What's good for them? What's going to help them out?
So I'm going to take you back circa 1999, back to the 1900s, y'all. All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was.
Go ahead.
So I was a junior in high school. And
is this in Pennsylvania?
No, this is Virginia.
Okay.
So we were in Richmond, Virginia. And if you know anything about Richmond goes back and forth between like DC, Detroit, Gary, like in murder per capita in the nation.
Yeah.
And, so we went to school with, it was just, we had a blast. But we went to school with some rough dudes. And they were into a lot of stuff. And I won't go into detail about all that, but they're into a lot of stuff. And me and my brother, we kind of fell into making all the same jokes as they would make. And
this is a Christian school?
It was but it was a real unique type of a Christian school. And hold on, I'm going to mute my phone because let me see. Sorry. There. Peoples are texting. So yeah, it was a Christian school, but it was an inner city mission. Like there was an inner city mission
Okay.
down in Richmond, and and so the school was started as an outreach of the mission.
I got you.
And so it was fun donors, and so you know, the kids weren't part. You know, the families weren't necessarily going to church. They were just being sponsored to get out of the city school system.
Yep.
So anyways, it's not like many of them had a strong church background, and the ones that their families went to church. So anyways, so everything that everybody's joking around that you shouldn't be joking around, that's what they were doing, but they were really actually living that. So but me and my brother, we kind of fell into making jokes and making, the song references and all that stupid stuff. But inside, me and my brother, he's almost 2 years, not quite 2 years younger than me. It started eating at us, like,
bothering you?
Yeah, this isn't us. And back in the, you remember back in the 90s, the term poser. And then back in the early 90s, too legit to quit. It was just like, you got to be
too legit to quit. Hey. I love that song, bro.
See?
I love that song.
So I got to the point where it was just like, if that's not who I am, I just can't joke about it if I'm not actually living that. Now, if I'm going to go do those things, take part in those activities, hang with these people, fine, sure, I'll joke about it. But I just can't do it because that's not me. That's not who God wants me to be. My parents didn't tell me that. They didn't know all that was going on. They weren't there with the friends. Teachers didn't know. There's a lot of stupid stuff. So we got to that point. Another good reference, Jesus Freak. So, yeah, man. So I'm not joking. That was actually a song both me and my brother were like, you know what? Yeah, they're right. If you listen to the song, it had some good lyrics, and we're like, yeah. I don't care what people say. So we just stopped. We stopped joking around like that.
Kind of the theme of that song, just to give, because it's an it's an older song. It's over 20 years old, man. So for my teenagers, the theme of that song is basically like, I will like bear the shame of being a Christian if the world hates it or whatever. If they think I'm weird, if they think I'm a freak.
Yeah, I don't even care if they label me a Jesus freak. It's one of the lines in
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it says, there's no disguising the truth. And so that was something that really ate at me. The truth is, I don't act like this. The truth is, I don't go these places. I don't put this in my body. I don't have these type of relationships. I can't joke like that. So there's no hiding the truth. That's not who I am. That's not how I'm going to joke. There's a lot of pressure to joke like that because that's how everybody lived.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me. They were being real. They were being real. It wasn't right, but they were being real.
You weren't being real.
No, man. I was being fake.
You had a desire to live for God. You had sincerity about you that you wanted to please the Lord, but you gave into the peer pressure at the time and said, no, I'd rather fit in, which that happens to a lot. I've been there, and a lot of my teenagers, they struggle with it. I get it. Yeah. So it's just.
So it was like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It was at the school and at the youth group that I was part of the church. 2 different ministries, but the youth group was just rancid.
Just as
leadership.
Just as bad.
No, I won't go into details, but in the last 20 years, a lot of bad stuff came out. I was surrounded by it. Mm-hmm. But what was inside of me,
hold up.
We were learning how to read our Bible. We were learning how to spend some time trying to pray, just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So there was no disguising the truth. So
I think a lot of teenagers, man, I see it all the time where it's, there's this, and we've all been through it. I've been there too, but it's really hard for people to step up. We've seen this with adults too. We've seen this in college age adults, even like in the professional setting, when you're like, you're in your 30s and 40s, people who just, they still are, they're a little bit embarrassed about their faith.
Yeah.
So it's not something that, just only teenagers go through. It's definitely something that happens with adults too. It's anybody who just, you don't want to say what?
And I said it happened to me in Bible college with my roommates. I mean, it happens to me now as running a coffee shop, and people want to make certain jokes, and I know how to handle it. And I want them to know, without me being offensive to them, that that's where I live. I live over here, but I've learned how to do that in a kind way. I've definitely learned how to do that over the years. So
yeah. I just think it's like, and people think that like Christianity is like an easy religion. It's not. Jesus was like, look, they're going to hate you for my sake. If they hated me, what do you think? Don't think that they're going to love you, Like there's going to be people who are very much against our faith. Now, that being said, we have it really easy in America. I have never had anyone physically attack me because I'm a Christian. And I have never been threatened to be arrested because of my faith. I've never, like.
I got attacked when I was in 5th grade because I was a Yankee living in Tennessee. I'm not joking. Fist fights.
So, but I mean, there is still a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, there's a lot of celebrities. There's a lot of people that you might listen to, see on TV, see in movies, listen to their music, who are gonna, criticize our faith in Christ. And we have to be able to, we have to have the strength to be able to say, okay, that's fine. Not everybody's going to like this. And I'm okay with the fact that not everybody's going to like this. Like I love God so much that I'm okay with the fact that there are people out there that might hate me.
Right.
And most of us, honestly, don't really deal with that on a face-to-face basis here in the States.
No.
I mean, other places in the world, man, it's rough, but we've got it pretty good. But I do think there's something to, just just knowing that, like just being that dedicated to Christ where you're okay. You can deal with the fact that not everybody's going to like him. And so because of that, they're not going to like you. And then not taking it out on them.
Yep.
Like, it's like, okay, look, if you're mad at me because of that, I'm not mad at you. I'm not gonna yell at you,
Right. And I want it to be natural. How I said, if that humor wasn't natural, I didn't want to have it. But I also want the love of Christ to be natural. So it just kind of comes out. Next thing you know, I'm in the shop and I'm not trying to invite anybody to church. I'm not trying to, get up there. But I'm just talking. And next thing you know, Jesus comes out. And if it's a part, there's no disguising the truth.
Right.
It just comes out. And, my love for people comes out. My love for my family comes out. These things come out. And then people wonder, why does he love people so much? Why does he love his family? Why doesn't he go spend Saturday on the golf course with all his buddies? Why doesn't he go to the bar after work and hang out with his dudes? I love my family.
Right.
Why does he love his family so much? Because I love Jesus.
Well, let me ask you this, Doug. So a lot of teenagers, they're in this place where maybe they're just, either they're new to the faith or they just haven't been living for God, and they're just being honest with themselves. But things are starting to change in their heart, and they're starting to move that way, but they're not quite there yet. So they got still like one foot over here where, they are kind of living in a way that doesn't please the Lord, and they know it. They're working on it, but they're not quite here yet. So what about those kids?
Okay. So everybody, you've got to be willing to, the Bible talks about, and this is a passage that I've been reading, thinking about lately, is in Psalm 4. And it says, commune with your own heart. You know what? Let me see. I'm going to see if it lets me do this. Nope, it doesn't. So I'm just going to tell you. I'll just read it.
Do you know what it is? I can look it up.
Yeah, it's Psalm 4, Psalm chapter 4. But it says, but I know that the Lord has set him apart that is godly for himself. So, those who are godly, God set them apart for himself to enjoy, to fellowship with. If you strive to be godly, if you strive, like you try, it's not a bad thing to say, I'm a godly person. Like, is that, we typically say, oh man, I'm godly or I'm spiritual. It's like,
Mhm.
shut up, man. You know what I mean? That's the
No,
first
tell me
thing.
what you mean.
Okay, if I walk around and be like, you know what, I'm a godly guy. I'm a spiritual guy.
Okay.
What's your first initial reaction if I say about myself, I'm spiritual?
Oh, that you're proud and that you're
Yeah,
probably not spiritual.
yes. But you know
Right.
what? The Bible does, it says, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in meekness. That means you have to know that you're spiritual.
Okay.
And over here it says, but know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. So if you're communing with God, you're godly to some point. You're not perfect, but you're getting to know God. So that sets the foundation for the fact that, and it says, the Lord will hear when I call unto him. How do you get there? Stand in awe and sin not. So if we have an awe, just a wonder about God, if you can get to the point where you just have a wonder, like not just like whoa, but kind of like, I wonder what's going on. You'll get curious about God. The more curious we get about God, like I want to know more about God. What's this really about? The more we begin to ask those questions, I'm sure you talk about jujitsu a lot with the people that you work with, because it's been a big part of your life, right?
Not as much because I'm retired, but yeah. But I mean, yeah, dude, I'm retired, man.
So yeah, but there are too many good lessons you pulled out of that. So you need to pull that thing out sometime.
Yeah, jujitsu's right. I got you.
So
You talk about what you're studying, though. You talk about what you're curious about. I get it.
That's true. So you're curious about God. It says stand in awe and sin not. The byproduct of being more curious about God, you'll be less curious about sin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the part that I think is really, really crucial. It says, commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Be willing to just look inside and say, is this who I am? That's where I got to the point where, like, is this really who I am? I communed with my own heart. I looked inside and said, is this who I really am? Is this who I'm getting kind of curious about God.
Mm-hmm.
I became curious about sin. So I've got to look inside and say, okay, which one do I want to be curious about?
Mm-hmm.
And be still. You know me, and you're like this too. It's hard to be still. Mm-hmm. Like our personalities, I don't do well just being still. But there are a lot of things that are tempting us and pulling us to be active and go. Why? So we're too distracted to look inside and look up at God. So that's, like from the scripture, that's something that really, that mindset helps me. I didn't understand. I wasn't thinking Psalm chapter 4 when I was a junior in high school and made those decisions. I really wasn't. I didn't know where to pick that out. It's come to me now. I'm saying, oh, wow, look at that. That's where I was moving, but it started with a curiosity with God, mm-hmm. which lessened to curiosity for sin, which caused me to look inside and say, who do I really want to learn more about? God or sin? And I looked around, I thank God that I was put in the middle of, honestly, man, they're perverts. They're fools. They're mockers. They're scorners. But I was also right next door to a mission where God, kind of like an RU home. And I saw
like a halfway house where people who down on their luck, losing their jobs, homeless, have nowhere else to go.
They went nowhere. Yeah. And they were good dudes. Some of them had been very successful, but they just made they were good people who made some poor decisions and got trapped in a cycle of poor decisions. That's all it was. Mm-hmm. And I looked at them and I was like, you know what? I want to be the good part that they are. But they're telling me, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, because it's going to get you where I came from. Why don't you just skip that and kind of be where I am? Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of saw that in action.
I think
where my friends were.
I think that a lot of, like I see it with our teenagers is, like you said, the be still. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
be still. Everybody wants distraction 24/7. The TV
I
has to
struggle
be
with
on.
this
The
right
PlayStation
now.
has to be on. I have to be looking at my phone. Like, God forbid that, you have everything shut off for an hour and then you just go somewhere and like take your time, like digesting a book, not just like reading fat, but just like trying to understand something, spend some time with your own thoughts,
Yeah.
And even when you become an adult, that happens, because what happens is we become workaholics.
Work. That's for me. I love to work. I love to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm. And it's like sometimes
I
you
love
have to
screwing.
figure out, like, okay, wait, there needs to be a time when you turn it off, and you have you're quiet. It's quiet enough where you can hear yourself think.
That's
I don't
hard.
like that.
And my wife and I were just having those conversations, and she's pointing out to me, like, you need to turn it off sometimes, and I've got a good wife. You got a good wife,
Yeah.
and, I've heard you say that. I love it. Everybody wants fireworks in their marriage, but dude,
Nobody
you
wants to
gotta
marry a firecracker, dude.
Yep. Nobody wants to marry an M80. So it's good. It's really good. On a side note, I'm not going to go down the rabbit trail, but M80 just makes me remember. I've got to tell you sometime about Josh Howard and Josh Howard, the M80, and the toilet on Rice too. So
Yeah. Some other time.
Yep.
Time. Please.
But anyways, being still, I'm not real good at that, and I still fight at that. It just, now it's not stupid things.
Right.
But
You find productive things to do that just are not being, it's just it keeps you distracted.
yeah, and Satan's smart.
We don't like to, like meditation, and I'm talking about like biblical meditation, where it's just like, you're just going to be alone and think, you're going to ponder God's words. You're going to put your thoughts on spiritual things,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a hard thing to do, because then you start dealing with stuff that you don't like. Like,
Yeah.
if you ever start thinking about your own sin,
Yeah.
and then you're getting super honest with yourself, like, yeah,
Mhm.
I choose to do that. It's not, oh man, the devil tricked me. Like, those are hard moments to have,
Yeah.
but they lead to something better, because it leads to confession, and confession leads to, whatever wall that you had built up between your heart and God, that comes down, and then there's renewed fellowship with the Lord. But the process to get there is not fun.
No, hey, Heather, I can't remember if I told you about it, but I didn't get a chance to read the book yet because Heather stole it. But spiritually and emotionally healthy. I ordered the book, was going to read it, and she intercepted it like Troy Polamalu, and now she's running for the end zone. And so she's going to be spiritually and emotionally healthy before I am now.
That's the title of the book, right?
Yeah, and she is eating it up. She's really getting a ton out of it. So I'm looking forward to reading it. But it talks about that a lot, like me, looking at my own faults. It's not that I'm afraid to. Be honest with you, man. A lot of times, like, I can see certain ones, but I think other ones I have a hard time seeing, because I'm just like, yeah, it's good.
What do you mean?
I'm happy. Like, I'm not a discontented person, and
Right.
I want to do more. So sometimes maybe it's just me turning a blind eye, like, la, 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 hey, let's just go.
Right. But just because you're happy doesn't mean everything's right.
Right. So I'm interested to read this book and see, okay, is it going to force me to look at some things that, maybe it's either I didn't want to see, or maybe it's some things that I didn't know. Maybe I really was not aware. Maybe I was just too dumb to see. I don't know. But I want to be, I want to stand in awe and sin not. I want to commune with my own heart upon my bed and be still. Like, I want to do that.
I feel like a lot of times, we all learn how to function with our own sin.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, I'm okay. My life hasn't imploded yet.
Right.
So I'm okay.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like, well, I really don't want to make changes because I'm okay. I'm not, like you said, like, I'm a happy person. I'm content. But that be still, that let's shut it off and actually, like, take some time and commune with God.
Right.
Like, that's the thing that's like, okay, no, God wants to reveal some things to you, because there might be things that he still needs to work on with you,
Right. Yeah.
You don't see it.
Being functioning. No. And, I was just talking to Dave Jorgensen, and I don't remember where they even met this guy, but recently, I know he was talking about way back. He met a guy that he was chauffeuring around he's just driving a limo, and everybody else got hammered, and he's like, I can't go sit with them. They're nuts. Can I sit in the front seat with you? You don't normally do that as a limo driver. But he let him. Come to find out, that guy had already had, like 10 beers. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I can't function normally without it. Like, you become functional in something that's actually bad for you. And he said, I can't live without it. Like, you couldn't. Dave's like, I couldn't tell. The guy's like, I can't drive right if I don't have 10 a day. I can't work right, And we can get like that with our own inhibition, our own sin, our own deficiencies. And we're like, no, it's not wrong, because I need it to do all the good things that I'm doing. I heard him say that. I'm like, man, what are my hangups that I'm using as a crutch to do good? Man.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing about sin, is it's so deceitful. Like, the devil's so tricky. It's a multi-layered game. I was talking to my wife about how my dad taught me to play chess. Did I ever tell you how my dad taught me how to play chess?
I think so, but I want to hear it.
He started teaching me when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and he never let me win. He taught me how the pieces moved, and then he started playing games in 3rd grade. And my dad, he learned from some guy that was just like a whiz. Like, he was like incredible player.
No samurai?
No, some Russian dude. So my dad, like, he would not let me. I mean, so basically from 3rd, 4th grade, like, he beat me every single game. And then in 5th grade, then it was, I started to learn how to trap and put pressure on. And you've played with me. I like to, I'm not like a chess wizard, so if any of you chess, grand masters out there hearing me like talk about my little basic moves, don't judge. Okay. But
so when did it happen? When did this moment happen?
Well, okay. So here's what happened was, no, my dad didn't like, it surprised him. But what happened was, it used to be, I was just trying to attack a piece. And then it was like, okay, well, let me try to attack a piece, but like, set up a little trap with 2 pieces. And then it was like, okay, let me act like I'm attacking this piece, but I'm really trying to get this piece. Then I started creating layers to my game when I was younger. And that's what people don't understand. The devil's not playing checkers with us. He's playing chess. There are so many layers to his attack. And so, it's like you said, he'll let you do good in these areas of your life. But he's going to grab a hold of this.
Dude, that book, Screwtape Letters.
Say what?
Screwtape Letters. You ever read that?
Dude, I've got to get back to it. I have a copy. I have to finish it. It's great.
I'm the same way. I've only read part of it.
Yeah. So Screwtape Letters is a fictional book written by C.S. Lewis, who C.S. Lewis wrote The Chronicles of Narnia. And he also wrote Mere Christianity and, a bunch of other great stuff. So Screwtape Letters it's about they're fictional demons. And one is a nephew, and the uncle is writing him, right? Like giving him advice on how to tempt and destroy human beings. And it's a great book, because it's really just what he's doing is he's trying to like expose to us how the devil attacks us.
Yeah. And it's not dark and twisted like you would think.
No,
and you know what? Most of life is not dark and twisted like what catches us up. Most of that is not dark and twisted. Right. It's like, hey, what's that over there?
Yeah, the devil's not trying to get everybody to murder somebody.
No, and he can't get us unsaved, but he can make us ineffective.
Right. So it's like, can he make you angry? Can he make you frustrated? Can he make you bitter? Can he make you discontent? Like
distracted, all of it, yeah.
All of that stuff. So, it's like, I don't always know how to explain that to teenagers though, but it's like you got to understand, like, the devil is playing like this sick game with you. And he has been doing this for thousands of years, and he's got a whole system. It's not like he comes into it and is just like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to know. It's like, it's watching Manny Pacquiao versus, it was like watching Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, right? So Conor's an MMA guy. but Floyd just toyed with him. Floyd just messed with him because Floyd is a grand master at boxing. Floyd is a genius at boxing. Conor didn't have one chance, not a second. So
and Floyd is a master promoter on top of it. He was boxing with Mayweather before they ever stepped in the ring.
With Conor? Y'all.
I mean, yeah, he was boxing. Sorry, he was boxing with Conor before he ever stepped in the ring.
But it was just, whatever. I'm not even going to get into that. Don't get me distracted. My whole point is that there's layers to the devil's attack. And so we've got to be, that's why it's really we really do have to listen to God's word.
Yeah.
Even the parts that we don't think are that important, like be still.
Right.
Meditate.
It's not, right. It's not telling you don't have this type of relationship or don't go here or it's not telling you that.
Right. It's not the flashy part of the Bible, right? But
man, it's a big youth meeting message. No, it's simple.
That is what, but that's what it comes down to. The Christian life is something that you live every day. And so what you have to live is it's reflection and it's prayer. It's communing with a higher spiritual being than what we are, actually talking to him. It's his spirit actually allowing his spirit to work in our heart and to lead us and to yield ourselves to him. It's reading his word. It's memorizing his word. It's praying. I read something in a book that I really liked. It was that book I told you where I kind of liked half of it. The other half I was like, this is weird. But he had a good paragraph in there. And he was saying that we don't like the word religious anymore. Christians don't. He said, but we are religious people. We have things that we are supposed to be doing every day that is drawing us closer to God. It's not the act of doing them, but it's what that thing is doing to us, doing to our soul, like the reading, the meditation, all of that stuff. And if I could get my teenagers to understand, that's why, man, that's all I'm preaching all the time. It's go read, go meditate, go memorize, go pray. And it's we don't want to, we all want the big, we like those, let's have a bonfire and burn all our satanic music. We like all that big stuff, but it's no, it's the day-to-day stuff is what really makes a difference in you.
If you stand in awe, you wonder more about God than you do about sin. You just start by wondering about God. Just start. Because it does say in James that draw nigh to me and I'll draw nigh to you. So you're I'll start wondering about God. I'll start what's this God thing all about? God's oh, okay. I'll show you a little bit more about me. And you want to wonder a little bit more? Okay. And then, over there in James, when he says, draw nigh to me, I'll draw nigh to you, cleanse your hands, purify your hearts, you double-minded. It's the same, it ties in over here with this, stand in awe of God. You're going to do less sin. Right. Nigh to God, he'll draw nigh to you. You'll do less sin. It just, we struggle in our relationships. We struggle with thought life. We struggle with motivating ourselves to work and be productive, whatever the struggle is. We're not taking that time to wonder and to commune with our own hearts. Be true. Everybody always talks, one of the big buzzwords right now, especially in the church world, is authentic community, all that stuff. And it's great. It really is. And it is a fairly big buzzword right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Get out your sentence because I got a sentence for that.
Good. So, but that's what this is about, being just being real, being legit, being too legit to quit.
Okay, here's my thing, right? I wish people would talk less about being authentic and just go and be authentic. It's
right.
I'm real. Dude, just go be real. Everyone will be okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to, as soon as, by the way, did you notice my voice tonation did not change when I'm be authentic. We just need to be more real.
Stop. I'm cutting that out. Just so you know.
What?
I haven't had to edit any of my other videos, and I already got 3 things I'm going to cut out of this video, okay?
But you got to send me
so much work for me, bro.
Send me the blooper reel.
I'm gonna make a mark so I remember what time it was. Okay, 45 minutes in. All
Why
right.
are you going to cut out authentic joke?
Because it comes across as making fun of somebody else, and I always tell my teenagers not to make fun of other people.
Gotcha. Good point. Gotcha. I get you.
Like I am so much on, and I
would
make fun of people all the time, and it's like I have to really tone it back. Like I have to really tone it back because that's my humor. My humor is to like, hey, look at that person. He did something really, really dumb.
Okay, no, point taken, because I just got on myself about that recently. And I want to be less about making cracks about people, which I don't think I'm terrible with. But then I stop and think, and like you just pointed that out to me, like, you know what? Like Jesus, I didn't see him do that. And it's people that I look at, I follow, I read, or I listen to, like the things that I admire about them, they don't do that. So,
Dude, I got a lot of people who have been gracious with me because I'm obnoxious. Like I know this about myself.
uh-oh.
I am an obnoxious person, like when I want to be, you know? Like I have this like pretty friendly side, but it's like whenever it gets bad, it gets really, and then it's like I am horrible to put up with.
Third grade Mike LeBugan, who just ate 3 bowls of Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms. If I had some, dude, I tell you, my parents never let me have sugar cereal.
Yeah, I believe that.
Never.
My response was Joe Pete told me that he would start off on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. eating a bowl of Nesquik powder. That's gross, man.
That's so nasty.
I know.
That's funny, man.
It's like eating beach sand.
Yeah, I just know. I know that a lot of people have like given me a lot of grace. So like I'm starting to learn, okay, I need to, and then
you know what? Because of that, if you want to leave it in there, just because of this whole conversation explanation that you put me in my place about that, and I graciously received, do it, because honestly, thank you for the reminder.
All right, man. I'll leave it in there then. I'll let the teenagers. I want to see the teenagers. The main reason why I did this is because I want to see my teenagers see my friends fail and then me correct them. That's
Dude.
my. I'm just kidding. I've been setting everyone up. That's what it is.
Yeah. Armbar, rear naked chokehold. Yeah.
Dude, did I not have? I'm telling you, man. Dude, we need to do this again, and then we're just gonna straight up just talk about like house jiu-jitsu, chest. It's all like a great picture of like Christian spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
The devil is playing 5-6 moves ahead, and we are just looking at the one thing right in front of us.
Yep. It's like, oh, hey, look, there's a glob of queso on my chessboard.
Oh, man. Well, dude, I don't want to keep you all night. We went a long time, bro. We went long, man. So I appreciate you doing this. I think that was some good advice, man, for our teenagers. I really want them to be authentic and to have I don't want to just have this performance Christianity.
Right.
Just do this, and then you're good. It's like, no, God has to do something inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Christianity is really about. Just us getting out of our own way and letting God to start doing a work inside of us and start changing things. You know, it's like the works of the flesh and the fruit of the spirit. And the fruit of the spirit is just something that God's going to naturally grow inside of you if you can make room for him, if you can get out of your own way, you know, and just really obey the scripture and start, you know, learning the process. So I really appreciate you talking about that. That means that you and I talk about that. We talk about that for years. And I think that's why we're friends. I think that's really, as much as we joke, it's because, oh, we like the same movies and we have the same sense of humor and stuff like that. But I really think it's because that you and I are both really, you know, have a sincere desire to see God do something inside of us. That we want it to be real. And I always felt like I could share my walk with you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I want to see that he's the one making a change in me. And I want to see God making the change in other people. I don't want to be the person who can take all the credit for myself or all the credit for somebody else's successes either. I want to see that change be done on a bigger level from somebody bigger than me. That I'm like, I couldn't help this person.
I think me and you both grew up together like that. It was
Yeah.
kind of like we got in there because we're young and we're like, we're going to change everybody's life. And then, man, as we were growing, you know, both at the same time in ministry, we were both like, hey, Doug, you and I don't change people's lives.
No.
Like, we don't even
Honestly,
change our own life.
boom. No. There were issues. There were issues that just made my head just like,
Yeah.
how do I do that? I'm like the History Channel guy. I just couldn't do it. I want this change. I want this help to happen so much, but it's beyond me.
Right.
And stand in awe. Say, what are you going to do? So
Yeah. Cool, man. Good discussion. Thank you. I know this is going to be a blessing to our teenagers. I appreciate your time, man.
thanks,
And,
dude.
you teenagers, listen to us. Listen to us, old men. We have the answers. All right, man.